Gridiron, guys.
It never gives
DQwell is with us now. DQwell.
What's up, fellas?
In the car.
I'm in the car.
Well, you're on daddy duty right now, huh?
Yeah. I took my little one to go work out, and we ran into a bunch of traffic. I thought I could get back in time, but I had to pull over, and he's back there picking his nose as usual. So, we got a special guest.
DQwell, you're not.
Oh man,
You're not working him out, are you?
Yeah, I was working him out. He just ran around the track all day.
Not no
And I thought
sled
he
pools,
would
huh?
at least be asleep, but he's not going to sleep anytime soon. So
he's fascinated right now by what's going on.
Oh, he really is. I told him he's going to be on national television. So he's got to be good.
DQwell,
he wants ice cream.
I thought you was getting them doing the sled pulls and sled pushes already.
So my trainer had him with small kettlebells walking around this big track. I'm like, that's too much. I was like, we don't want to stunt his growth too early. Let's let him have fun. Deal with daddy.
You know, DQwell, you live in a nice neighborhood. Don't have protective services out there. Oh my gosh, this guy had his little baby out there. His baby had kettlebells. Right. He almost died. He almost passed out.
We made sure he was full of fluid, so he
was hydrated.
Hey, DQwell, I know. Listen, you see what I got on for you, baby?
What's that?
Maryland.
I can't see it.
Maryland.
Okay. I appreciate you showing the love.
Show you a little love, baby. Show you a little love.
I see it.
Now,
respect,
exactly.
my friend.
There it is.
Now, DQwell, we were sitting here. We was talking your cup of tea. We talking about the defense, and we was talking about the idea of John Johnson saying that, hey, all the guys is back, all the guys is moving around. We feel a better vibe. When you playing on the defensive side of the ball, what do you think he means when he says it's a better vibe? You know what I'm saying? Is he talking about the continuity? Is he talking about just knowing where you need to be on the field? Or he just talking about the overall feeling of the talent on the field?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of all of it. And I think, obviously, the Deshaun Watson has a little flavor to add to that as well. But listen, a lot of starters are coming back. A lot of continuity. It's funny, I was on the phone with a bunch of guys from Cleveland former players from Cleveland last night, and we hadn't been on the phone forever. And the one thing we talked about was, even though we didn't win games, the camaraderie was there. And we talked about a team up the road in Pittsburgh because they always had the same coordinators, the same guys, and that was due to their success on the field. So I think it's a combination of that. I think the guys is one more year under his belt, one more training camp under his belt with the same guys. You don't have to look down the locker room and see different faces all the time. And that means something. A lot of front office people don't value that. And it has a lot of value to bring in, to keep the same guys, same coordinator, so you're hearing the same message. And you get more out of it in the end. And also, you want to add the fact that you look down the locker room and you see a guy, which we don't know when he's going to be able to play, in Deshaun Watson. You already feel like you're a championship caliber, Super Bowl caliber team, and you're just saying all the right things because guys feel it in the building.
DQwell, we were talking, Anthony Schwartz, I don't know if you saw this news. He got hurt in practice yesterday. Tell him.
Okay, you want a phone call next? Okay, we'll make a phone call after.
So Schwartz goes down, non-contact knee injury. We don't know how serious it is, but obviously when you hear non-contact in knee, you always assume that it's not very good. David Bell, their rookie wide receiver, has what does he have? A stress fracture in his foot.
Yes,
so we don't know when he's going to be back. They were already thin at wide receiver to begin with. You got some interesting veterans like Will Fuller, Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Whackjob Beasley, and T.Y. Hilton. Do you think the Browns need to be aggressive and go after a wide receiver right now, or should they not panic because it's early camp?
Yeah, I think once they, this may sound weird that I say this, but it's actually better it happens earlier than later.
Yeah.
Because some of these guys, you don't know what's the long-term effects of all of this. Obviously, you have to expect guys to get banged up early on, and you can't hit the panic button right away. But right now with Schwartz and David Bell, that is a huge blow. You don't expect that, but I think probably right now it isn't the move to go looking for guys, but probably the next few weeks or so when you start playing preseason games, a lot of guys are going to start to go down, a lot of soft tissue injuries are going to happen, and a lot of unexpected cuts. So I think when that time comes, then I think you have to kick the tires on, okay, let's look at where these guys are from from a health standpoint and see whether or not we need to, push forward and go out and get a veteran. But I'm sure it's in the back of their minds because they do have a young core of guys and, unproven guys, if you will, at the receiving core. But I'm sure this has been on the priority list in terms of keeping an eye on this position group, how well they play. Do we need to make a move earlier rather than later?
DQwell, you have just become the starting middle Mike linebacker for the Cleveland Browns, okay? Joe Wood say, we playing Carolina the first game, Baker Mayfield's the quarterback. Joe Wood say, DQwell, whatever you call, we running it all game. What's your game plan for Carolina? What you doing?
Oh, I'm playing attack style defense. I mean, I'm gonna feed into the guys who they know this guy that was in that locker room. They know his strengths. They know his weaknesses. And if I'm a coordinator, I'm playing to these guys' strength. Listen, you want to make it known that he was not the guy for the job. And on defense, whether the game is close, whether the game is a blowout, whatever the case may be, whether you win or lose, the defense is going to take the credit or take the blame if they don't play well. So I'm calling fire zones. I'm calling zone blitz. I'm doing everything. I'm sitting on all the routes and forcing him to throw the ball down the field, which in my opinion, I don't think that's the strong suit. So you got to play to those guys. Those guys are going to be amped to play.
We
talk about it.
You got to feed into it.
We coming like some crazy dogs. That's it.
Yeah, man. Those are the games. Those are the games you look forward to, especially when you know the guy throwing the football. All the DBs, all the safeties, they're going to probably have extra meetings about, hey, listen, this is what Baker did well. This is what he didn't do. They're going to talk about tips, reads, all the tales that clue them in on how to jump routes. And they're going to be so aggressive, especially from the defensive back standpoint, because they know what he can do and they know what he can't do. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I really am. It's going to be a hell of a ball game from the back end.
I'm glad that you second what I said. I appreciate that.
Oh, you did?
Yes. I think this is going to be – see, this is going to tell DQwell exactly who the Cleveland Browns coaching staff is, right? We done talked about a lot about Deshaun Watson, and I want to make it clear, right? Coaching counts. Like, your game plan counts. How many times have you been on a team where you've gone into a game and you just knew by what the plan was that week? Install come around, you're looking at film on Tuesday, Wednesday, and you're looking at the film and you say, well, my goodness, well, why would we be running this? I don't. we ain't got a shot, and you know what, to get where we need to go with this. Where do you think? Explain to the people how much a coaching game plan counts on Sundays.
Yeah, I mean, the players look for. Here's the dichotomy of all of it. That's right. The players play, the coaches coach, and you expect your players to go out and play well, be healthy, understand what the opposing team is doing, understand tendencies, and we put the same amount of pressure on the coaches to come up with a great game plan, to watch 3 or 4 films, come up with a plan to convince me that, you know what, if I listen to you, if I, watch how Baker Mayfield's shoulder comes up, he's throwing the ball deep. If I trust your tendencies, you're going to get more out of it. You're going to be able to reach the player's potential. And I think in my 11 years playing, there was probably a handful of guys that I knew whatever they told me, I was going to do it. And a lot of it was, I was questioning a lot of some coaches I've had, but the guys that know what the heck they're talking about, you knew those guys were going to go on to be head coaches. They spoke the same language as players, and it means a ton, because if you don't grab the attention of players early on, and if you better hope and pray that you have a winning record towards the middle to the end of the season, because you'll start to lose the interest of players, and players will start to tune you out. So if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know what you're talking about, you can't convince me that if I listen to your game plan and you come up with a game plan and we win and we execute and we're winning games and we get results, then you got my undivided attention. But if not, then it's just water under the bridge for us, man. It just goes in one ear and out the other. So it's very important that coaches understand how to communicate with their players and how to come up with great game plans.
Hey, DQwell, I have a question, because I made a statement earlier in the show before you got on. Sometimes it concerns me when you have a lot of talent on the team, because a lot of coaches can't handle a lot of talent, right? And it becomes problematic because, they're systematic and robotic, right? And now when you got a super amount of talent, guys, because of their talent, can make additional plays. Sometimes you got to be able to bend and mold yourself to your talent on the team. Do you have any concerns about the Browns coaching staff and the amount of talent we have on this team?
I'm going to step out because the little man is starting to whine. I'm going to go to his side.
Don't you leave that car, right?
No. I'm going to go to the other side of the
nice area. Don't do that.
Brad, I heard can you repeat the second half of your question?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, man.
So my concern here, we understand. Listen, DQwell, we've all been there, bro. Trust me. Trust me.
Yeah, it's
I'm still there, bro. They're just older now.
Yeah.
My question to you is, because the Browns have a lot of talent, are you concerned that the coaches?
I think we should let DQwell go? This kid's crying.
No, I got it.
You sure?
We're good.
All right, go
We're
ahead.
good.
So do you think that because the Browns have a lot of talent, that sometimes it can be too much talent for the coaching staff?
Oh, yeah. Right. Well, I mean, in this case, most coaches that are head coaches, this is what they want, right? They want to. What was the old term that I forget, the Hall of Fame coach? He talked about they want me to, cook the dinner, but not buy the groceries.
Right.
This is the ideal situation for a coaching staff, and in my opinion, it shows just how well you can coach, because you have all the talent, you have everything you could possibly need, and you got to go out and show that you can also speak the same language and convince these guys and motivate these guys that, hey, I'm the man for the job. Because we all know the guys who played, if you have the talent and you can't convince me that I can go from being a great player to an elite player, then you lose interest. So I do think there's a certain level of pressure that comes with any job as a head coach and any assistant coach for that matter. But when you have the talent, that's an ideal situation. In my opinion, that's no excuse. You got to get it done. And if you can't, well, I feel like that's what a lot of people kind of point the finger at Baker, because you had all this talent and couldn't get it done. And you had one of the worst QBR ratings in the National Football League last year with all the talent surrounding you.
Right.
And so, that you got to figure it out. If you don't, then you got to find a guy that can get it done.
And if the coaching staff don't figure it out this year, then they'll find new coaches that can get it done. DQwell, great to talk to you as always. Good luck. Enjoy.
Hey guys, I apologize.
It's nothing to apologize.
We all understand.
Brother, everybody understand that. We all been there, bro.
It's all good. We love you. We'll talk to you next week. We'll keep you extra next time.
Keep them kettlebells out of his hand, though.
We'll see you later.
Arms is
He's
tired.
in a better mood.
His arms is tired for the kettlebells.
Can't control the kid's mood. You can't control it. Thanks, DQwell.
All right, guys. Take care. I'll talk to you guys
Have a
next
good
week.
weekend, bro.
DQwell Jackson. All right, good.